Hi class, how are you doing? Welcome to our first grammar video. Today we're going to be talking about Unit 1, sentence structure. This will be an opportunity for you to both prepare for classes and also review. And I know that you can go online and see the video recordings of our class, but I thought this might be a shorter and more condensed way to review and also learn the grammar for this class. So I will keep up with these every week. This week, the only grammar we're working on is sentence structure. We will be spending a lot of time on our writing skills coming up. So this will be your only video for this week here. What I'd like to talk to you guys about today are the 5 options for combining sentences. You probably have figured out by now there are more options than just these in English, but these 5 are very common. They are an easy way to make your writing more complex, and our textbook will follow every essay. We will learn more subordinators and transition words. So we will continue to build on this idea every class. Maybe not every class, every essay. Okay, so for Unit 1, we're really doing a quick introduction to these, and we will start with option 1. And we learned some new vocabulary on Thursday. We learned about independent clause, which is another word for a simple sentence. And we said a simple sentence is just a subject and a verb. Now, sometimes we have compound subject or compound verb. For example, Aaron and I learned grammar. My husband and I went out, but it's considered one subject because we're doing something together, and so we only have one verb. And sometimes we have a compound verb, like Aaron went to the park and ate pizza. There's no extra subject, only one subject and the 2 verbs that are a compound verb. So it's still considered a simple sentence which is also known as we'll move this over here, independent clause. Independent clause. And so our first option, we learned about semicolon. And semicolon looks kind of like a J, and we said it acts like a period. It connects 2 independent clauses, IC, independent clause, IC, period. And it's an easy way to combine sentences. It's advanced, looks very academic, and it's good to add into your essays maybe a couple of times per essay. So we have lots of examples of this. I'll give you a quick example, right? I overslept yesterday, semicolon, I felt bad. We know that because of the semicolon that these sentences are related to each other. You overslept and you felt bad. Those are connected. They're not totally separate. The semicolon still brings them together into one sentence. All right, so that was our option 1 that we talked about. I'd love for you guys to try this in your first essay that we're going to start talking about on Tuesday or Thursday. And then we did option 2. Option 2, we began to talk about using conjunctions, coordinating conjunctions. And I talked about a term that I want you guys all to learn called fanboys. Fanboys is just an acronym for 7 coordinating conjunctions in English. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. These are a group. They all act the same. And this is important because they follow the same rule. Coordinating conjunctions combine 2 independent clauses with a comma. So it's going to be independent clause, comma, coordinating conjunction, and then independent clause. So, for example, I fell asleep, comma, so I was late. Period. Two independent clauses combined with a comma and a coordinating conjunction. This is review, but now you know, maybe fanboys is new, and now you kind of know which conjunctions are going to use comma every single time, always. All right, that's option 2. Then we talked about option 3. Option 3 is transition words. What are transition words? They're really adverbs, and they're used to introduce a relationship between sentences. So transition words could be something like a result, like as a result. It could be something like opposite idea, like however. Okay. It could be something like to add information, like in addition, also. And I gave you a list of a bunch of those on your worksheet. We will learn more every essay. So transition words, they require either a period or a period and a comma, or a semicolon and a comma. So 2 different ways to combine them. In our class, we talked mostly about semicolon, but you could also use a period. So let's connect 2 ICs, independent clause, with a transition word. Either we have to use a period and a comma, or a semicolon and a comma. I overslept, period. However, comma, I wasn't late. Okay? Or we can use a semicolon in this spot. I overslept, semicolon. If we use a semicolon, this H will not be capital. It will be small. However, comma, I wasn't late. This will be a very advanced, useful way to combine academic sentences in this class. You will learn lots of transition words. Please don't forget period and comma surrounding the transition word, or semicolon and comma when we have an IC. All right, that's option 3. Now in option 4, we went a little deeper and we started talking about complex sentences. And complex sentences, we know, include a subordinator. And so this is options 4 and 5. And now we have the idea of subordinators. What is a subordinator? Subordinators begin dependent clauses. What's a dependent clause? Well, the word dependent means someone or something that needs someone else, like a child is a dependent. And so dependent clause is not a sentence, cannot stand by itself. Okay, I'll give you some examples of these DCs. Because I was hungry. After the rain fell. These are not sentences. These are actually need to be followed by a comma. They cannot stand by themselves. If you put a DC, it's considered to be a sentence fragment. We talked about sentence fragment. It's not a sentence. It has to have an IC following. Because I was hungry, I ate lunch, period. After the rain fell, I went outside. So if you put a sentence with a subordinator, a DC with a subordinator in your essay, and you do not have a comma, it will be wrong because it will be a sentence fragment. We talked about option 4 and option 5. Option 4 has the subordinator at the beginning. Option 5 said we can switch it. But if we switch it, there actually is no comma in that case. I ate lunch because I was hungry. Okay, no comma, no comma. I went outside after the rain fell. Okay, so I hope that's clear. We talked about that last time. If the subordinator is in the middle, there's no comma. Okay, so we're going to be making sure to remember what are our subordinators, what are our transition words, and we know fanboys. We learned a couple of errors. We've already talked about a sentence fragment. When we're missing a subject or a verb, or when we leave a dependent clause by itself. We have two other types of sentence fragments or errors we talked about. The first one is run on, and then we also talked about comma splice. This is all in your textbook. Run on and comma splice, very common errors, is when we have lots and lots of clauses connected by commas with no coordinator or subordinator, just running on and on and on and on and on. We are going to stop doing this, not have these errors in our sentence anymore. We'll talk on Tuesday more about correcting those, and we'll do a little practice. So I hope this helped you review. Don't forget the homework, page 3 and 4 from the workbook, and I will see you guys on Tuesday.